Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and I got my wish. Oh my gosh. So last week I was super busy. We had our town celebration. It's called Bergfest. It was really fun, but I volunteered at it, so I had a late night, to be honest. I was helping with the beer garden, so it was a lot. And then Sunday, Garrett and I we're trying to catch up on things, and so I had a very productive weekend last weekend. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, my house is clean. Everything is clean. I had officially got done with my summer to fall/winter clothes. I had got caught up on our laundry. Our dishes were done. I was feeling so good. Our fridge was cleaned out. Fridge, especially when you're traveling and stuff, your fridge can get disgusting, especially with old Tupperwares in the back corner hidden behind the milk. So all of that was cleaned out. We had gone to the car show. Was that Saturday or Sunday? I'm not sure, honestly, but I had the best weekend. And I just remember threading. I love the app Threads. If you're not on it, I'm sorry, but if you are, follow me at Logan Lee Miller. It is so fun. But I was I had such a productive weekend. I'm hoping that this weekend is moody. It is rainy, and I was just hoping. I didn't check the forecast. I didn't do anything, but I was I am just hoping that next weekend is moody and cloudy, so then I can relax and be inside. And I got my wish. It was literally the perfect weekend. It was moody, overcast. It rained a little bit, but not too much. But I'm definitely feeling it's fall. And I was letting the dogs run outside, let them out, whatever. So Rooster and Rowdy are running outside, and I look at the trees. And sometimes you forget to take a pause and look around. You know the seasons are changing. You know time is passing, but you don't take just a second to breathe and take it all in and be present and in that moment. So as the dogs were running all outside, I looked at the trees and I was summer is gone. And I've been talking about summer leaving, but it really hit me that summer was over. The trees are losing all of their leaves. Our grass is covered in leaves, and it's also a bit chilly. So I moved my monsteras inside. They've been outside all summer long, and I really saw some growth on my big monstera. Rowdy had chewed her up last winter into the spring, and so she was really damaged. I had split her up into 2 plants, and actually 3, and I gifted one plant to someone else, and then I had a small one in my office, and then I had my big one at the house. And the big one had taken a beating with Rowdy eating on her, separating the overgrowth, and she grew so much this summer, and so it's a little sad. But I brought her inside. The wind was completely out of control. She kept falling over. I was oh gosh. So I finally brought her back inside, and that was just a moment that I was yeah, winter is coming. It's around the corner. Fall is beautiful. The holidays, we started planning for November and December, and I'm just there's no words to explain the feeling of being grateful for the summer that you had, grateful for the fall you're about to have, and also the reflection of last year to this year. So I was taking it all in. But since I was super productive last weekend, this weekend was chill. I have felt so restful. I have felt so good and balanced, and I got to watch some TV shows. I I think 2 episodes ago, talked about like the different series that I was watching on Hulu at the moment. And I have been on the Hulu grind because Garrett on his lunch breaks will watch Netflix, or like in the evening if Garrett wants to watch TV and I'm like folding laundry in the other room or I'm working in my office, I will have my like iPad going with a show. But with Netflix, like stupid sanctions or whatever, they're like, where it limits the amount of users you have, it is so upsetting because it'll be like you have too many devices at one time. So I've not been watching Netflix at all. It's been Hulu, but I just realized as I'm sobbing through one of these shows, like uncontrollably, like just tears streaming down my face, I'm like, you know what? I'm not the type of girl who likes to watch scary stuff. Like, I would rather bawl my eyes out than to be petrified. Like, I don't know, like that, and that's might be weird. Like, some people don't like to watch movies that make them sad, but I like watching a few things that, you know, make you cry and make you feel grateful for where you're at and who you are in comparison to, like, things could always be worse, you know, and it makes you just feel like grateful for yourself. But I also think crying is so cleansing, and there's science behind when you cry, it actually does reset the balance in your body. So I love crying every once in a while. I think it's so good for you. Crying and sweating. I'm not sure if you should cry every day, but you should sweat every day. They say that, like, you should laugh and you should sweat every single day. Well, I think you should cry every once in a while too, just to reset some things in your body. And speaking of sweating, Power Life has been so good. So it's been officially 2 weeks that I've been taking Power Life classes, and I absolutely love them. My body is feeling super, super sore. I've been going 3 times a week, so I've taken 6 classes. I've taken like some with like Kennedy and another friend, like with their free buddy pass, but this is like the first time that I got to pick the classes, and it's okay if Kennedy's not with me because like our schedules don't align. So it's like I get to pick it, I get to like do it, and then I've been meeting new friends, and of course I get to see Kennedy every single class that she's in as well. So it's been like really great for a social aspect. There's like some chatter before and after class. I really, really like that aspect and the struggle. And I also think because there is music, but sometimes like the yoga instructor, well, not sometimes, it's guided. It's always guided. And so they can be guiding you through a story that they're telling for reflection on like your personal life. And I've been loving it. Oh my gosh. I love reflection. I love making sure like to check in and do a body scan and all of those things. So it is right up my alley. I've been enjoying it so much, and I've been working muscles that I've never worked before. I don't think my core has never felt more sore, except for, I will say, when I did Pilates like a whole year ago, I could feel my core. Then I can feel my core double of what I felt in Pilates. So it has been so good. I've been loving it, but I've been so sweaty. I'm talking like flopping around on the like yoga mat. It is disgusting. I need to get a yoga towel, or like I have, the mat I got was from Marshall's. It is a, a Peloton. It's a Peloton yoga mat. And it's really good and grippy until I start getting too sweaty, and then I kind of like flop around. Kennedy has a Lululemon mat that is more like grippy. It's not textured, it's a smooth grip, but I'm worried that won't work for me either. I'm worried once I get too slippery, I won't have the traction. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to have like a towel on my current Peloton mat. If that does not solve my issues, because I've been trying to do like downward dog, and my fingers are slipping and my heels are slipping, and I can't get into that position correctly. And that's like the easiest position, and I'm like slipping all around. So I'm gonna try a towel. I need to pick one up. And then if the child does not work, I will be trying the Lululemon yoga mat. If you do any sort of yoga and you have a suggestion for me, will you please let me know, because I would love to find something that actually works for me and for like my yoga, because it's something I've really been enjoying it. So I've been sweating buckets, and I've been crying, you know, for the shows. So all the good things. I've also been laughing and having a blast. So let's get to the peak of the week. So another workout class. My Aunt Sherry invited me to a workout class, that she goes to regularly. They had like an invite a friend. Really, like these workout classes that have invite a friend is so helpful, because you get to try the class, and it's also like a social event. I think it's so good, because right now, like for my life, people are like, oh, do you want to grab a bite to eat? Do you want to run to supper? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, like I love to eat, but also that's like can get expensive if you're meeting with a friend like once a week and you guys are going somewhere to eat and it's like fancy and it's also centered around food and conversation. But I just think like working out with a friend is really good for like interacting, but also like putting the pressure off of like being too, I guess like having that one-on-one too much, if that makes sense, especially if it's a friend that like you don't see all the time and you might run of things to say. I don't know, it just puts the pressure off. So Aunt Sherry invited me. I was like, yes, absolutely, I will go. The fitness instructor is actually like, I know her, and so I was like, yes, I would love to take Jen's class. So we went to it, worked out. It was very, oh my gosh, like I was like breathing hard. I will say I thought it was going to be outside. There was mention that it was going to be outside, so I like wore my thick leggings, I wore a long sleeve shirt, and I wore a vest and my hat. I usually wear a hat when I work out like at a gym, because I like to hide myself a little bit, but when we were doing the circuits, it was more like a circuit boot camp-esque kind of workout. And then we went outside to run, but since it was like drizzling too much, like we didn't do all the workout outside, we did most of the workout inside. And so we'd do a circuit, a full round of all 11. We'd run outside, we'd walk outside, we'd come back inside, do the circuit again, back outside, run, walk, back inside, do the circuit one more time, go outside for like a quick...
That's not nice.
Oh my gosh, Siri scared the heck out of me. She's... whatever, I accidentally clicked it. But... so we would like run the circuit outside, and during the last one, here's the thing, when you've never taken a class before, you don't know what to expect, so you never know when it's going to end, and it's like, okay, we do it once and then we're outside and we're done. And then I thought, oh no, like we're gonna do the circuit one more time and then we'll be done. And then no, like there's a third circuit. It's like, you're kidding me, when will this end? But there was one point I got like a little hot and I was like, I might vomit all over, or I might pass out. Like I got a little dizzy, and I was like, dang, like these girls are going hard. But I really think it's because I had too many clothes on because of like my thick leggings. They were like outdoor leggings, but it was a really good workout. I enjoyed it. I did not vomit. I did not pass out, but I was like, ooh, like this is intense. Like they're really working hard. But that's not the peak part. It was fun to do the workout class, but that's not the peak. The peak part was Aunt Sherry and I got to visit afterwards, and I had borrowed her camera for like a second shooter during Adriana's wedding. I was worried. I'm always like, you know, will my camera break? Like, can I have another one? It was for backup, you know. I was like, just in case, I'm not gonna fail at this. So I had my camera, her camera, and then my digital like camera that I vlog with. And I was like, I'm set. Like, I'm gonna be able to get the photos that I need. So I was gonna return her camera, and she's like, oh, like, how much time do you have? Do you want to pick apples? And I was like, absolutely. So Aunt Sherry had given me like 4 grocery bags of apples 3 weeks ago or so, and I had processed them, made applesauce. And I was like, yeah, like I have the time to, like my house is clean. Last weekend was my production weekend. So this weekend I have time, like, yes, absolutely. So I went to her house, which is The workout class was like in her town, so I had to drive like 20 minutes there. Not a big deal, super fun, but her house was like 5 minutes away. We went, we apple picked, and we had like a really good chat. And I ended up, the workout class was at 8. It got done at 9. And then I literally did not leave my Aunt Sherry's house until 2 p.m. We just had like a really good visit, and we got to talk. And I don't really get that much one-on-one time with my aunts or my uncles, especially as an adult, or even like during family gatherings. Like, it's sometimes hard to have that one-on-one when you're in a group setting, and like as you get older you think that you will have as much time as you did as a kid, but you don't. So it was really fun to just chat with her. I picked 2 big bags of apples. It was so cool. And this Sunday I made applesauce, apple butter, and apple cider. So I haven't made apple cider by myself or like with pressed apples. My mom used to do like apple juice that was already like from the store, and then she would put cloves and cinnamon sticks in it, would have it over the stove, and that was super, super good. But with some of the apples, because they're homegrown apples, not all of them are like huge, like not all of them are big sized. Some of them are like literally as big as, I don't know, like very small. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see, but I don't know even what to compare to. Bigger than a golf ball, but about the same size. And those are really hard to peel and chop and then put into your crock pot for applesauce. So I was like, you know what? I have a juicer. I love my juicer. Let me try and make apple juice. So all the apples that were like a bit too small, I just like processed in the my juicer. I put and boiled over the stove. I put cinnamon sticks and cloves in it. It made the house smell amazing. I let it simmer for 30 minutes, and I canned 2 quarts of apple cider. So I cannot wait for an event to actually have the apple cider. And I was like, oh yeah, that was way easier than applesauce or apple butter, because you have to like peel and core the apples. This, I literally like chopped the apples, did not decore, did not peel, did not anything, and just threw it in the juicer. So quick, so good. And the apple juice or the apple cider was just like amazing. It was so fresh, so good. So I have 2 quarts, and I can't wait to like use them for an event or a Friendsmas, or when I go home to Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like, it was all the vibes. So that was my peak of the week. It was so much fun. And then my pit of the week, I was completely out of skincare. I will say, like, I had like 2 things. I still have my cleanser, and then I also had like my vitamin C serum, but everything else was wiped the heck out. So when you're out of everything, it's so annoying to like have to restock, because it's like, oh gosh, like I wish this was on a tiered system where it's like, oh, like I ran out of one thing and I replaced it and it was only $10, instead of I'm out of 10 items and they're all $10. That was so annoying. And I was also out of shampoo, so I had to run and restock on everything. And now like my bathroom looks so cute. I will say, when I have to do a restock of anything, cleaning products, groceries, I always take inventory and I always clean up a little bit. So I looked at my beauty products. What had I used? Like, I see my empties, but is there anything like sitting here that I got as a gift, or I got in a package, or whatever, that I'm not using, or it doesn't like work for me? What can I like declutter? What can I get rid of? And then I'll also do it like for my makeup or my household products. Like, what haven't I been using for a while? Or is this smell like no longer my favorite? And I just take inventory and audit. So that's always good for me to like do, just to like make sure all of my stuff's clean. But the pit was spending the money. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sad. But I got it all. Oh, I forgot. There's actually one other peak of the week. This is so fun. So our hospital puts on an event, it's called Ladies Night Out. It's for breast cancer awareness, and they raise money and donate it. And so one of my friends, Jenny Snap, she was actually on the podcast this summer. So if you haven't listened to her episode, be sure to go back to it. But she is on the team that puts on this event. And most of my friends have businesses, or they, like Jenny, are working the event. And so I didn't have anybody to go with. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be alone. And I asked Garrett, because our 3rd anniversary was this week, and I had a board meeting on our anniversary. So Tuesday, October 10th was our anniversary, and I had a board meeting and I had a facial plan that day. And I was like, you know what, like, can we postpone our celebration? And he's like, sure, can we do it Wednesday? And I was like, actually, I have a class Wednesday, you know, Power Life. And he's like, okay, what about Thursday? And I had originally agreed, but then I forgot that I went to go to the ladies' night out event. So I was like, you know, Garrett, would you want to go to this event with me? And his not Grammy, my great-grandmother is called Grammy. His great-grandmother was called Mammy, and Mammy actually passed away from breast cancer. So it's very important to Garrett and I have several people in my life who have battled breast cancer, or like my best friend's mother was lost to breast cancer. So it's like a huge priority for me to support events like this. And I know it is for Garrett as well. In college, he actually planned a breast cancer event for our university. So, and that was called Big Pink, and it's for Greek life. So he was like on that committee to do it. So I knew that he would want to do it with me. I failed to tell him that it was gonna be just girls. Oh my gosh, like, because it's ladies' night out. Last year, Jenny's husband had gone, and Garrett and Jenny's husband like get along, and I was like, oh yeah, like they can hang out. And then I texted Jenny, I was like, hey, like, is Jordan gonna be coming? She's like, no, he's actually like has to watch the kids. And I'm like, ooh, it's just gonna be me and Garrett. So we went to ladies' night out, and it was just Garrett and I, and a ton of women. And he had made plans with his cousin afterwards. He was like, hey, is it okay if I leave early? I was like, yes, I can sit by the speaker by myself. Like, that is totally good. Thank you for walking around the booths, because they have like vendors and stuff. I was like, thank you for coming with me. I really appreciate it, because I was feeling a little out of place by going by myself. And I do a lot of things by myself, and I'm usually okay with it. But for this reason, I was just feeling like, I don't know, a little uncomfortable. We all have those times where we don't feel like amazing, confident, or like our like pious best self. And this was like one of those moments where I was not feeling it. And I was really happy that he was like, yes, absolutely, Logan, I will go with you. So we went, we had all the things, we experienced the booths. And then he's like, all right, like, I'm gonna head out. Are you gonna be okay? And I was like, I'm gonna be fine. Like, the speaker is about to start. Like, nobody needs a friend to sit in a chair. So I was like, yes, I'm good, thank you. And I like go around for the giveaway stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to find a friend, and that's okay. So I noticed 2 ladies sitting up front, and I was like, hi, like, is anybody sitting there? Or, you know, pointing to the chair. And they're like, no, actually, we were just talking about your dress. And I was like, thank you. My dress was from MKT. It was part of their like summer collection. It was floor length. It's like a little bit of a wrap dress. Super, super cute. And I had gotten many compliments on it. But I was like, thank you so much. It's from MKT, which is a business here in Warrensburg. Are you guys from Warrensburg? And they're like, no, we're from Australia. And I was like, what? What are the odds? And I was like, oh, that is so cool. Like, why are you here? And they were on, I want to say, a 5-week trip to the United States. They were going all over. And I was like, what? Like, how did you get here? Like, to this event? And they were like, we just look for local events, and then we go and experience like these small towns. And I was like, that is amazing. And so they were telling me about like their travels so far, where they had gone, told me about Australia. And Australia has been on my list. Like, me and my best friend from high school, Andrew, I talk about him, you know Andrew, okay? Andrew and I were discussing on where we would want to like travel after high school, and one of them was Australia. I was like, I would love to go to Australia. That's like #1 on my list. And then I meet these 2 girls from Australia after doing all these solo trips this summer, and like I have solo trips planned November is not a solo trip. Lily's coming with me, but in December, like I'm gonna be going to New York by myself and all these like solo trips. I love doing it, and they are doing a dual trip. It's like the two of them, but they're like 5-week jaunt, and I'm like, is that scary? Like coming from Australia to somewhere you've never been before? And they're like, no, like you know, we felt safe. We picked good Airbnbs or hotels or like all of the things. And I was like, I'm literally so jealous of you guys right now. Like so jealous. I love solo traveling and like going different places and experiencing things. And we talked probably 25 minutes before the speaker started. And then we talked like an hour and a half after the speaker ended. We just like kept sharing things and like talking about our lives and the comparison between Australia and the United States, and it was so good. I will say I learned a new word. It's called bogan, and it's like when you're a little bit country, like a little bit redneck, like a little bit bogan. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that word. It's so fun. And then of course, like we talked about Vegemite. I see on TikTok all the time, like about Vegemite for Australia. Let me tell you, like I am in, like I want to go to Australia. That's literally on my list and my number one from high school. So it was like this perfect alignment thing. And they're like, you should come to Australia. And I was like, you know what? Like when I go to Australia, I will hit you girls up. Like I will see you in Australia. Right now they're going into their summer. And so it's like really hot there. And we were talking about how like Christmas and like it being cold or hot. I was like, that is mind-boggling to me because Christmas is for coziness. We are getting slippers. Like I'm wearing my slippers today. I have a puffy vest on. Like it's to be inside. It's to hang out. It's like to have the Yule log going, all the spices and the smells in the house, like hot apple cider. I made pumpkin roll 2 days ago, so it's like pumpkin, it's cinnamon, it's nutmeg, it's all the things. I'm like, to have a Christmas that is literally hot, I don't know. And speaking of Andrew and Rachel, his wife Rachel, I don't know how they're in Florida during Christmas. Like I don't know. Like a warm Christmas is mind-boggling to me, and for them that's the normal, you know, like you don't know any different than what you know, but I'm like, wow, that is insane. So that was my other like high of the week, my peak. And it made me realize like connection is so important in meeting people at events. And here I was being so scared. I was like, oh, like I don't want to go to this event by myself, being a little whiny baby. If I had held on to Garrett as a crutch, I'm so thankful Garrett came with me. I really am. He's such a trooper. Everybody, like ladies night out, everybody is in pink. And last year there was a couple men, but this year, no men. Garrett was the only man in a room full of like, I want to say 300-400 women. I was like, thank you so much for being here with me. But I was being dramatic. I was being a baby. Like if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't give the opportunity to let the universe show you the people who you're supposed to connect with, the people who you're supposed to see, then like what are you even doing, right? Like you have to allow the space for things to happen for you. So I've been really behind on my vlogging. I just like one of the vlogs that I did that has really been putting me through a loop was when I went to Scottsdale. It was the first time filming on my digital camera, and so from going from my phone and vlogging to my camera, it was a bit of a disconnect, and I didn't know how to get into the rhythm, and it was also a lot of footage that I had to go through. So it was definitely a learning experience, but it took me longer than it should have to process through that data and to actually do it. I completed it today. I did post it on YouTube, but it's, what is today? October 15th. This episode's coming out October 16th, and that event was August 25th. So it took me a full month and a half to process that video. But it was kind of good because I was reminded of how I felt at that event, and I was reminded about how like nervous I was to go out and speak to people that I've never met before. I'd gone completely by myself, and it was putting myself out there, and I was enthralled, and I was so happy, and I met so many friends. But if I hadn't taken the step forward to go on this solo trip, if I hadn't tried to like just connect with another human being without my cell phone, I wouldn't have met the ladies that I met. I wouldn't have been in the like program that I am now. Like, it was one thing after another. You have to let the world show you, like, you have to let the universe, you have to let God show you like what's next for you, and you have to give it space. You cannot like fill it up with the mundane. You have to like have these little pockets of your time where you're open to meeting new people and new experiences and new things. So like when I was in Arizona, like if I hadn't taken a trip by myself, stepped out in faith that I can do this by myself, I'm gonna be okay, like I can travel by myself. Back in February when I was booking the trip, if I wouldn't have like taken that leap of, okay, I'm gonna have to take vacation time, okay, I'm gonna have to like find the money for the plane ticket, I'm gonna have to find money for the hotel ticket, I'm gonna have to find money to like actually be there. If I hadn't like made those hard decisions and actually went through with it, then I wouldn't have experienced everything that I got to experience. I wouldn't have met the people that I was going to meet. So this past weekend, it was Friday, no, it was Thursday. Thursday was ladies' night out. So if I wouldn't have said, you know what, Garrett, I'm sorry, like, can we do something for our anniversary, like this weekend? And also, do you want to come with me because I'm feeling a little nervous? But really, like, I didn't need Garrett to come with me. I would have been fine by myself. I would have been okay, like, talking to vendors. I would have been fine, like, making new friends. And would some people maybe question why I was by myself? Maybe. But you are, like, in this world, people are more concerned with themselves than you. As long as you are not, like, being complete, like, weirdo, taking off all your clothes and running around with, like, peanut butter spread on your body, nobody is going to bat an eye. Nobody is going to think, oh, Logan's all by herself. Nobody is going to think, oh, like, does she even have friends? No. They're going to be like, ah, nice to meet you. Like, are you from around here? You're going to make the connections, and you're going to, like, find those people who are going to fill your cup up and who are going to give you life and who are going to be making friends. Like, that is what it's all about, is making those human connections. And when you're able to do that, you reach someone on a different level. And it's taking yourself out of your own situation and your own view on things, and you're like putting yourself in someone else's shoes, even if it's just for a little bit. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. You're not always gonna feel like 100% confident to put yourself out there and to talk to people, but I promise you, like, no matter how the interaction goes, like, you're gonna gain something from it, whether that is exposure to like negative feedback or making a new friend and seeing life through their eyes or what they experience, because you never know who's going to give you like your next idea or your next connection or your next like event that you're going to go to that's going to lead to something even better and even greater. So I was being a bit of a baby, but I was so glad that he left me. So then I was put in like an uncomfortable position where I had to make friends, where I had to like greet someone. And what are the odds that I met like the two people who were not from Warrensburg, who are from a different country, and I was able to connect with them on a level that I wouldn't have been able to if I was using my husband as a using my husband as a crutch and like, you know, not talking to anybody, just staying comfortable. And maybe you don't have a spouse or a boyfriend or anything like that, but it could be your friend group, like your friends that you hang around all the time. Those could be a crutch to not like being open to new connections. Like if you always hang out in the same group that you hang out with, then you're like not allowing someone else to come into your space. I don't know about you, but one of the scariest things is like seeing a posse of girls or a posse of like individuals and like needing to go up to them to make friends. You're like, oh, like, are they all gonna hate me and judge me in the group's chat? Like, maybe, I don't know. So that was my other peak of the week. And it was so fun. I really enjoyed this week and just like being able to hang out and relax and do all the things, which brings me to this podcast episode's title, which is When Will Being Me Be Enough? And this is referencing Kim Kardashian. Now, say what you want about the Kardashians. One thing that you cannot say is that they are bad business owners. Kim Kardashian has literally built an entire business, multiple actually. And in this episode, if you watch the Kardashians, like, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, that's okay. And the new season of the Kardashians has came out, and Kim got to go to Harvard and speak to a class of business students. And what I really loved about this one was it was a different perspective on Kim, and it was not just the drama, not just fighting with her sisters, and I loved it. I loved it so much because as a woman who is trying to build my own business, I love seeing the strategies of other people. I love getting the hack. Like if I can learn what you did so I can do it faster, not like spend time wasting on making too many mistakes. Like that's why I think books are so amazing. That's why I think podcasts are so amazing. That's why I think taking someone's course is so amazing, because you get like the cheat sheet, you get the hack, you get the things. And although like I do try to limit my TV consumption, I do think that the shows that are gonna bring me some sort of value for business, lifestyle, or anything, like I like watching the Kardashians because it's inspiration for my own life, like maybe keeping my kitchen clean or having wonderful clothes, or even like their family dynamic of being so close to one another, even if they fight, even if they bicker and argue, like it's all good things. And someone could just judge it and be like, oh, the Kardashians, like that is terrible TV, and that's your opinion, and that's fine. But Kim was going to Harvard and she was talking to these business students, and one of the business students was definitely glam. She was beautiful, and she said, you have been so inspiring to be a woman who, Kim has achieved multiple things. She has Skims, she has a wonderful like TV show, she has multiple children, she's balancing being a mom and having a brand and doing all of these things, and she's also beautiful. Kim, whether that is, you can't say that Kim does not take care of herself. She is always like trying to improve herself. She is stunning. Sometimes maybe, she's gotten some plastic surgery, that's fine. Like I've gotten Botox, I've gotten laser hair removal, I've dyed my hair, like they're similar things. So you can't say, like, she's still beautiful, right? And the college student was like, you know what, like you balance so much and you built a brand, and you still do it as a mother. You still do it as like a beautiful woman. You love glam and you also kick ass. Like you get to do both. And that helps me, as the student was saying this, to realize that I could go to school, I could be a lawyer, I could be like this really kick-ass woman, but I can also love glam. Like you don't have to choose one or the other. And like that is so true. Like I think about the strong women in my life, and I think about my mother. And my mom has always balanced 5 children, which is terrible. That's poof, girl. And we're all brats. Like I will tell you, like me and my sisters, we're terrible. Like straight up, we're not good kids. We were good kids, but we were all close in age. We argued, we complained, we hit puberty, like we were terrors. That happens. That's part of growing up. And my mother was so good. You know, she allowed us to be kids, and she brought us up in the best way that she could. And it makes me really grateful for the way that she did things, and also showed me that you can do anything you put your mind to. There's nothing that my mother couldn't figure out, and she modeled to me that I can do anything that I want to. And I have brains in my head, and I can try as hard as I want, and I can succeed in those things. And that really encouraged me to go out for sports, even though I was literally horrible, or go out for leadership positions, to run for our town queen, to run for, you know, different pageants, and gave me the tools that allowed me to succeed in these areas. And she also loves shopping, and she loves getting her nails done, and loves getting her eyebrows waxed. Like, I remember as a little girl, like, laying on her like chest as the beautician like waxed her eyebrows. Like, I was probably 4, 5, 6, and I'm watching her like get her eyebrows waxed and like getting her hair done. I got to be a part of that. So she loves beauty, but also she is a strong woman. She can cook a meal. She can balance all her rugrat children. Me, I'm the rugrat child, okay? Like, she can handle all these things. She can go camping. She can, you know, cook, like, all the things. And she really modeled to me, like, you can do it all. And you don't have to be put into one box. And like, as a child, I was encouraged that I could not only be beautiful, like, I love getting my nails done, I love skincare, I love, you know, getting my hair done, I love getting a pedicure, I love going shopping, I love decorating my house or baking or cooking or any of these things, but I also can be a leader, and I also can, you know, fight for what I think is right. I have a voice. I can be opinionated. My mother is very loud. She is very opinionated. I'm very similar in that aspect. Like, I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to be polite about it. Like, I'm never going to belittle someone for like their own ideas, but I'm going to talk about my ideas and my things. And in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, Kim Kardashian and my mother are the same person. In that aspect, where they're like, you can do it all. And Kim was sharing a story, and she was like, you know what, like, because there was another question on like, why do you think, like, has this been hard or whatever, to, because that college student was talking about Skims, and how Skims, if you don't know what Skims is, it's shapewear for women. And shapewear is not like talked about that much. Like, if you have to wear Spanx under your dress, like, that's embarrassing. Like, that was the connotation of shapewear. Like, it's not something you talk about. You just wear it to, you know, smooth all of your imperfections and like wear a dress or whatever. So Kim has taken something that could be embarrassing, that could, you know, need to be concealed. I remember wearing like spandex under my homecoming dress in high school, thinking, oh my gosh, like, this is so embarrassing, because I want a smoother tummy, or I want to, you know, hold my thighs in, or it might be too short. I didn't understand that. I've been clicking my Apple Watch all episode. I'm so sorry. But like, it was embarrassing to talk about. Like, I would need shapewear or spandex or something. And in the Skims campaigns, all of these women are showing the shapewear, and they're beautiful, and they are not embarrassed by it. And so the college student was like, wow, like, you know, you've taken something that could be seen as embarrassing, and you are showcasing it to the world that that's okay. Like, you are allowed to have shapewear and still be beautiful. Like, what was your intentions? Like, did you see this space in the market and think, you know, like, being inclusive to all body sizes or whatever? And Kim goes to say, like, you know what, we actually didn't think we should be inclusive. We should have shapewear for all body types because that's how the world is going. She stated, this is just how our world is. Why wouldn't that woman be wearing it? Like, it's for everyone. It's not just for one person. And she said, that it wasn't molded to what she thought society would want, but she was doing it because that's who she is. She wants anybody to feel confident and comfortable in the shapewear, and from her standard, that's just how it is. It's not like trying to make a stand, that's how it should be. And she goes on to say of like, when will I just be enough? And she was telling a story about how she was invited to the White House. And she goes to the White House, and right before, she's going, maybe she's sitting in her limo or in her car, and she's about to step out. And she said she had this moment where she was thinking about a bikini photo that she had just posted. And she's like, will the White House think that I'm inappropriate? And she's feeling a little self-conscious about this. She's like, her page is a variety of things. It's her family, it's herself in fashion, it is herself, like in a bikini, or, when she is fighting for because she's in the justice system, she's a lawyer, and so whatever individual that she's fighting for who might be in prison or incarcerated, like she might share their story. And she was talking about how these are all facets of her life. And when will being her be enough? When will being Kim be enough? And it had me thinking about the times where I've been embarrassed about something that I've shared or I've posted, or not even embarrassed, but maybe conscientious of what will they think when they see this? Maybe not like for a job, not for like the position of like my career, but maybe someone from high school, or maybe someone who I used to be friends with and am no longer friends with, or maybe peers in my group. And I think, what will they think when they see this? Should I be editing my way? Should I be editing myself in a way that is more appealing to them? Like my vlog. Like when I'm vlogging and I might not have any makeup on and I might not be like my beautiful radiant self, I sometimes think, oh my gosh, like, is this clip trash? Because I don't feel like 100% beautiful in this clip. But that's me. When I'm recording that video, that's my reality. That's how I wake up sometimes. There's a saying that goes, there's no bad photos of you, that's just you in a moment of time. And I've really been trying to release the pressure on myself to look perfect all the time on social media, or like when I'm posting a video. I've been trying to post more regularly on TikTok, and I posted this video where I was blow drying my hair, and I had my air stick. It's like on TikTok shop. It wasn't an ad, it wasn't anything like that. I'm just easily influenced, and I had bought this air stick, and I was using it in a way that wasn't for a selfie. Like they market it as like, you can stick this anywhere, you can take a selfie, it's so fun. But I was using it to prop my phone up so I could read a book. I was reading Tools of Titans, and I was swiping as I was blow drying my hair. Well, I had just gotten out of a hot shower. I had applied my skincare, so like my face was red from washing, from patting, from putting like all these products on it. Then I was introducing the hair dryer, blow drying my hair, which was also a hot tool. So my face is bright red. And I pulled out my phone, and I was like, and I created a short little video. I was like, this is how I'm using the air stick. Do you ever do this? Something quick. And as I looked at the video, I thought to myself, holy smokes, I look atrocious. I was like, my skin is bright ass red. The under eye area is a bit dark. I look greasy because I just applied all my skincare. My hair was wet, so I looked like a greasy rat. But my video, I thought it was good. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to record it one more time. And I tried to record while, my hair was parted. I had dried a little bit more. I combed up my eyebrows, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it from a different angle. and it wasn't authentic. I was halfway through trying to recreate the first video that I did, and I was like, this is trash. This is literally trash. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter how I look on the video. The content is there. Like, what I want to share is there, and people can take it as, wow, Logan is actually freaking ugly, or like, will they even notice it? Would they even care? When is being me gonna be enough? You know, sometimes I do have a beet red face. Sometimes I do look like a wet rat. Other times I look better, and I have concealer under my eyes, and my hair is freshly washed, dried, and put in hair curlers, and I'm feeling amazing and beautiful. But when will all the versions of me be okay? And Kim was saying her version, you know, her bikini photo and her being a lawyer, it's still her. It's still the same her. There is no such thing as a double life, okay? You can pretend on the outside world, when you go into the office, when you are, you know, maybe this perfect polished person, and then when you come home, maybe your house is a mess and you're like, oh, like things are so dirty, but like nobody on the outside will know that. There's no two of you. There's still you. Or maybe you go out in the world and you are late to work and you're running around and maybe your clothes are a little bit sloppy and you're like, this is not the true me. I only look like this because I am the sole caretaker for my child. And maybe you were up super late last night and you like got them dressed, got them ready to go to preschool or school or whatever. And maybe you weren't able to put the effort into yourself. And you're like, this version of me is not the true me. But there's no two parts of you. Both parts are you. The mother who is rushing off to work late, and then the mother who got their kid to school on time and their kid is clean and ready to learn. Like, that is still an organized mother who might be running a little bit late to work. There's no double life. There's no two parts of you because it's still you. You are still the same person. And so the person that you might be when you wake up and you have morning breath and you feel really terrible and ugly, and if you're anything like me, you have an eye mask on, you have your earplugs on, you have mouth tape on, and like you literally have to unpeel everything to get on with your day. Like, that version of me is the same version and the same person who is like freshly clean, washed, glammed up, and ready for the day. There is there is an authenticity of being yourself and being both versions. And you don't have to hide that to the world. Like, you can just show up as yourself, and it's okay if someone doesn't accept that part of your life. It's okay if someone says, you know what, like, I hate that part of you and I hate that aspect of you. Why can't you fit in this nice little box? You are not meant to fit in a box. You are not meant to be someone's idea of perfect, okay? We are not Barbies. Even though, like, I love the Barbie movie and I loved everything that it encompassed, what I'm saying is we are not like a manufactured doll. We are not something that is just like perfectly perfect, okay? There used to be this like saying when I was younger. I used to see it on like Twitter. It's no longer Twitter right now. But it was like the sound or something, or maybe it was a meme. I cannot remember. Maybe it was a song. I don't know. But literally it's like, this is not Build a Bitch. And they were talking about like when a partner is like picking you apart and wants you to like look a certain way or have a certain haircut or be a certain person. This is not Build a Bitch. This is not build the perfect girl. Like, I am who I am. You either like her or you don't. And that was so powerful to just watch it. And people might discredit the Kardashians, but that was such a valid point. Kim has accomplished so much in her life, but she's still a mother. She's still a, beautiful woman. She still posts photos of her in a bikini. And there's also like people who think once you reach a certain age, you shouldn't be posting certain things or you shouldn't be wearing certain things. For mothers, the clothing options are not always on trend. They're not always beautiful. Or like, even I remember when my mom and I, because, you know, I just had my anniversary, I remember when we were looking for Mother of the Bride dresses and they were hideous. I was like, why does someone have the idea that a mother should be frumpy? Like, or wear this like very matronly outfit? Like, literally all of the mainstream, like David's Bridal, Azazi, you know, any of the online, like bridal, bridesmaid, Mother of the Bride, whatever, any of those vendors, all of the dresses were hideous. And I just was thinking, oh my gosh, like, why would they want mothers to wear this? We ended up finding her just like a cocktail dress or whatever, but it was like short, it was glittery, it was beautiful, it was dark green. But I was like, why can't she be beautiful? Like, why does people's idea of like a mother, like they can't be beautiful or they can't balance other things or they can't be like a powerful individual in their own space? And I'm done. I am completely done of trying to filter myself in a way that is more appealing to others. I'm just going to show up as I am and who I am and what makes me happy. And like, I'm not perfect and I shouldn't be trying to hold myself to a perfect standard, because perfection is literally, like, if you're waiting for perfection, that is just a way to procrastinate or delay. And if I think back to when I first started my podcast, like, I waited 8 months to start my podcast. And if I would have just started when I had the urge to, if I was like, oh yeah, like I want to do it, I would have had 8 more months of experience than I have now. And if I look back on those podcasts, I think they're cringe. And here, you know, it took me a month and a half to edit my August 25th vlog, but, you know, like, I'm learning and I was scared to edit it wrong or have to like sift through that much, or I wasn't ready for it. And if you never start, if you procrastinate or wait for perfection or wait until you're wearing the right thing or your hair is looking the nice, or, you know, like your eyebrows are combed up or you have fresh mascara on or whatever makes you feel the most confident, if you're waiting for that or waiting for everything to be perfect, I promise you, you will never start. You will never start showing up as the person that you are and the person that you are meant to be and how you are supposed to be inspiring of others and overall just like being who you are meant to be. And so what areas have you maybe been holding back or been not showing up as the person that you're supposed to be because you're afraid you're not as polished enough, or you're overthinking, what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I accidentally offend someone? Because if you're coming from a place of kindness, you know, you're not acting out in anger, or your intentions are really not to hurt anybody, then you will be okay. If you know, show up as yourself authentically as that person and you receive backlash, but you are coming from a place of goodness, an apology will suffice. And so don't allow that to keep yourself afraid or keep yourself from showing up, because if you happen to post a beautiful bikini picture on your trip to, I don't know, Destin, Florida or Tampa, Florida, like wherever, or you go to Greece or wherever, and then you get back home and, you know, your friend's sister's mother's like, why would you post that? You literally don't have a six-pack. You can be like, I'm sorry if you think that, like an apology will suffice. You don't have to explain to that person why you posted it. You posted it because you wanted to. And it just really gave meaning to like embracing all sides of you. And you are enough. And how you are right now is perfectly okay. Of course, I want to improve and achieve more things. That's what Golden Hour Drip is all about, like pursuing your highest and best self. But it's okay to be authentically you as well. We're all trying to pursue the best area of our life, but it's okay to show up exactly how you are right now. Because if you don't show up how you are right now, you're never going to gain that experience. You're never going to make the mistakes and learn from the mistakes. So start today. Start doing things that scare the shit out of you. Start chasing after your dreams. Start posting what you want, even if you have a red tomato face, even if you don't feel that most confident, because you're going to learn from it and you're going to grow from it. And I promise you, it is better to look back and think, oh, I did that, than I wish I did that. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate if you would give me some sort of feedback, a like, a subscribe, a comment. Any of those things would be so helpful as I navigate the last quarter of the year and into the new year. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.